Hi there, I'm Chihiro from Japan. Welcome back to the program. Let's learn a life lesson from a story together. How are your parents doing, everyone? When they get old, we worry about their health. We are all going to die, and the cause of death is different for each person. In Japan, where I live, the leading cause of death is cancer. The treatment approach for cancer can vary depending on the wishes of the patients. Some people choose to endure the harsh side effects of chemotherapy and opt for a difficult treatment to combat cancer. On the other hand, some people choose not to pursue treatment and instead face death with only minimal pain relief. It's important to respect the choice made by the patients. However, it sounds like I still see it as something that doesn't directly affect me. Can you stand to see your parents worn out while undergoing medical treatments? Or can you accept your parents who don't want any treatment even though it may cure them? Regardless of which choice your parents make, you may end up blaming the doctor, blaming your parents, and even blaming yourself. Today, we are going to talk about our choices. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Let's get started then. If we could always make a perfect choice, we would have no regrets. Can we consistently make perfect choices in the future? Unfortunately, that's impossible. All we can say is, it was the best choice at that moment. Only God can make the perfect choice in this world. We are human beings. If you chose it at that moment, it was the best possible answer for you. If the patient stood on the verge of death and made their decision, whether to take medical treatment or not, that's what they believed was best for them. The doctors respected the decision and did their best. You always did your best. You never know which choice was better though. You're free to think about that later, but you can't change the results. Don't worry, I will say this again and again. You can choose to be catastrophic, or you can be the best supporter for yourself. We talked about parents so far, but what about married couples? What do you think is the biggest problem between husband and wife? Is it divorce? Do you think that divorce is a bad thing? If you get divorced, you may think, I have failed in my life. I don't know what to do from now on. And some people would be devastated. Then, I'm going to ask you all, is there anyone who has never failed before? There's no one like that, right? Now, let's ask the same question to those who got divorced and are in the dark. Do you think there is anyone who has never failed? I'm sure that they will answer, of course, there's no one who has never failed. Do you get what I want to say? Those people can't see what's going on around them. Divorce may bring them a bright future, or they can even get a chance to meet a wonderful partner. They know that everyone makes mistakes, but they lose their composure saying that they messed up by getting divorced. They can't see the contradiction. Everyone is prone to failing. Although we understand this conceptually, it becomes difficult to accept when it happens to us. Let me tell you another story about people who can't see what is going on around them. A mother and her child were playing with the sand at the beach. The mother said to her child, "Look, the waves will come there. If you make a castle, make it where the waves won't come." As the child moved to the place where there were no waves and continued to play with the sand, the mother said, "What are you doing? You should start with collecting sand. It's easier that way." When the child was making a castle, the mother said, "I'll show you how to make a castle. You're doing wrong." And she built a magnificent castle. But the child wasn't happy at all. He just wanted to make his own castle, even if it doesn't look good. Does the mother realize how he feels? I am sure that she thinks, "I am doing this for my son." Here comes another mother and her child. Waves keep coming to the place where the child started playing with the sand. Even if the child tries to make a castle, the waves wash it away. However, the mother does nothing. The child enjoys the phenomenon of the sand being washed away before he can build something. Eventually, the child realizes, as long as I build something at this place, it's going to be washed away. And he moves to a place where he can avoid the waves. At last, he completes a piece of work and shows it to his mother. She says, "That's great. It looks very nice." And she smiles. Actually, the mother had no idea what her child made. But the child did his best to create somewhat his work. I am sure that he will be able to build a magnificent sand castle by himself someday. The first child may never build a castle again. His mother expected him to be perfect from the beginning and to make a gorgeous sand castle. That can make him not play with sand anymore for fear of failing. Both mothers love their children. This story is showing that people don't see what is going on around them. Mothers may say, "Don't hang out with those friends. Don't read such books. It's inefficient." The first mother loves her child, but she has taken away all his awareness and raised him to be a child who can't think for himself. She gives instructions before her child makes mistakes. In Germany, children are brought up with the idea that they have the right to fail. Even though a child makes a mistake, it's not a big problem. Parents expect their children to experience as many different kinds of failures as possible. The first mother loves her child, but what she does for her child ends up backfiring. What kind of person will that child become? Just one little setback can cause depression and neuroticism. The mother can be the cause of them. In the same way, if our supervisor gives detailed instructions each time, what will happen to his subordinates? They won't be able to think for themselves and just wait for directions. If the supervisor doesn't give instructions, they won't be able to do anything. The supervisor spoils his subordinates. Parents and supervisors have the same difficulties. By the way, do you know that every single kanji character in Japan has its meaning? Let me tell you how to write parents in kanji. The character for parents is written as stand on a tree and watch over. In other words, it never means to interfere with or to help the child. Parents take a step back, stand on a tree, and watch over their children. That's the only thing parents need to do. There's nothing parents can do for their children. They can't help their children to develop their ability to survive, to think for themselves, and to squeeze out answers on their own. That's what children need to do by themselves. Hopefully this video is helpful to you. Well, that's about it for today's episode. How was it? I hope your life shines even brighter. Let's talk about life, time, Buddhism, love, and many other things together in the following episode. Please subscribe to our channel. Have a great time and keep on smiling. Thank you for listening till the end. See you soon.